CC's Pizza. Oh my God. I just had a memory from when I was in high school. No. I just had a memory when I was back in college. And, okay, wait. I'll tell you when you come back. Hold on. Okay, so I remember when I was in college, me and some of my classmates from ROTC, every time we would do an event, every time we would do something, color guard, ceremonies, whatever it was. Yes, I was on the color guard, probably so. We would go to CC's Pizza and smash. Like, I was sitting here smashing CC's Pizza with like some grown big men who were actually in the army. I was hanging out with I was hanging out with them, and I want to say eating like a dude, but I held my own. They knew that this girl could eat. I had an appetite. And so I wanted to share that story because that's a positive memory that I have from when I was in college, that I realized I was giving myself the allowance to eat in any way that I wanted to without guilt and shame attached to it most of the time. It wasn't perfect, but most of the time. And so just to piggyback from the last video, I noticed that the binge eating started to subside because of the allowance I was giving myself to eat without even realizing what I was doing. And again, at this time when I was in college, and this was 2010, 2011, I didn't have any terms or verbiage for any of the things that I'm sharing with you guys. I didn't know about binge eating disorder. I didn't know about restricting and the cycle and all these things, all these words that I'm telling you now based off of experience, I didn't know back then. I just knew that when I was in high school, I had a problem. And then when I came to college, it started to subside a bit. And it's interesting to reflect back on this and to see that simple shift of a mindset tweak of I'm going to allow myself to eat whatever I want allowed me to relax and actually say, you know what? I don't have to stuff and cram all this into my body because next Monday I'm starting a diet, right? I work out. I was at the time, like I told you in my last videos, I was in ROTC training and preparing and actually planning to go to the army. Yes, me, I was going to go to the army. Girly girls could go to the army too. I don't care what nobody says. And so I wasn't sitting there really, honestly, another thing too, I wasn't worried about my weight. I think I looked great. And it's so funny because once they started to actually tape us and measure us and get us weighed for the PT test to actually see what categories we were in so that we could reach a certain number of exercises and a certain time of running 2 miles under a certain time for your height and weight. So that was the category, so to speak. Those were the only times that I actually weighed myself. I remember one time weighing myself. Remember, I was 175 for a long time, mainly all through high school and early college. And so towards this was probably my freshman year in college at Armstrong. This was like midway in between this first year. And I remember getting on the scale and I was like 160 something. What? Like me? I haven't been one transparent moment. I haven't been 160 something at that time in my life since I was 11 years old. I'll let you know where I was weight-wise. I'm not shaming myself. I'm not guilting myself. It's just a number. But let's backtrack real quick because I do want to share this story with you. I do remember going into the doctor's office as a kid, 10 or 11 years old, and the doctor telling me that, I need to lose weight because at this rate, basically, I'm headed into obesity, being over 160 pounds at 10 years old. In the doctor's mind, and according to the doctor's standards, that was a problem. And I'm not tall at all. I mean, I'm 5'5" now, but I was probably at that time, 5'2", 3", I don't know. So Yeah, yeah. I just remembered that. Ah, man, that's so interesting. I just remembered that moment and that story. And so when I got on the scale, fast forward back to where we are in college, when I got on that scale, when they were taping me and measuring me to see where I stand for my PT test, 160. What? I don't remember the exact number, but I do remember I was in 160s. I was like, what? And I've been eating whatever I wanted, but I've been very active, and I wasn't really worried about my weight. I wasn't really even worried about my food. I could have ate better because sometimes I didn't feel good. You can eat but so much pizza, and I'm not a big soda drinker, so I didn't really drink soda, but you can eat so much pizza and convenience store food. But the options that we had on campus was pretty balanced. So do you see what I'm trying to share with you all here? Through my story, I want to hone in and I want to drive home the point of there's a trend here. Before, when I was in high school, I had a restrictive mindset and I was physically restricting food-wise. Led to a binge. When I get to college, man, I'm too busy to be thinking about my weight. I'm too busy to be thinking about, oh, I shouldn't eat this, I should eat that. I got 6 classes this semester. I'm not kidding. I actually enrolled in 6 classes my first semester. Not a good idea. I have all these extracurricular activities and I'm working. I'm busy. I'm actually active, very, very active. So I had a lot of leeway to just eat whatever I wanted. Man, and it sounds so simple, but once you establish a habit, your body physically, just on its own, that's one thing. If it feels like it's being deprived, it's gonna kick into high gear and get what it needs. But also your mentality, your emotional state, that is equally as important. And I look back now and I'm like, high school to my freshman year in college, drastically different, mindset-wise. So physically, I actually started to lose weight. I was no longer at that 175 plateau. I was more active and giving myself the grace and allowance to eat a balanced diet. You know, I was vegetarian. I just didn't care for meat anymore. I wasn't trying to do vegetarian. I was tired of meat. You can eat chicken, but so many times and eat it in so many different ways. I got so tired of chicken, okay, y'all? So even to this day, I'm not a big fan of meat. It's just not a thing for me. I'm not trying to be dogmatic and I'm not trying to fit into a certain title or club or label, none of that crap. I just don't really care for meat personally. That's me. But anyways, so I love reflecting back on these stories and looking back at what I used to do and seeing the subtle changes. Like, it's so interesting to see the glimmer of hope that was always there of me coming out of this. But the key thing was awareness. The key thing was understanding what exactly the problem was and how do I get out of it. I had to really realize what I was doing. I had to become aware of what the problem was so that I could start to shift into alignment with changing what I was doing for the betterment of my health. Oh, this is getting good. I'm not even gonna tell y'all what we're gonna talk about next week. I'll see you next week.